you guys for joining us again on our newest episode of The Money Line. This week we have a very special guest, one of my good friends.
Wow.
Longtime friends and colleagues. And he's somebody who I've shared a lot with. We've traveled together. We've done business together. We've always tried to pick his brain. Nestor Martinez, thank you for coming on today.
Guys, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ness.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I always ask my friends and family if they'd love to join because, as you guys know, I'm fascinated by the way people make money. Nestor, I think you've been very fortunate in life, and you're a very smart businessman. And what we always ask people on this show is, what do you do for a living? What is your business, and what do you do?
Okay. So, again, I've been in healthcare for 27 years. I started as a chiropractor. I was my career kind of started. It was very interesting. I went to University of Texas for School of Engineer to become an engineer.
Oh, wow.
And graduated from high school at the age of 16, not because I was smart. Just when I was young, my parents said, hey, go to kinder at the age of whatever it was, 3.5 or 4. Yeah, exactly. And, so people ask me, oh, it's because you're smart. I said, nope. I just, my parents wanted me out of the house very early.
started, yeah.
And so I went to University of Texas at the age of 17 and to become an engineer. And I was there for 5 semesters. I was involved with a motor vehicle accident on my sophomore year.
Okay.
My attorney sent me over to a chiropractor in Austin, and I became fascinated with chiropractic. And I said, I'm going to become a chiropractor. Wow. I really wasn't. I did miss Austin and the UT, culture.
Yeah.
I wish I would have finished my degree and gone but I just wanted to be a chiropractor and graduated from chiropractic at the age of 23.
Wow.
And came out of school, worked for someone for about 6 months, and then bought a practice, and just kind of rock and roll since then. I have people ask me all the time to adjust them and things like that. I'm like, hey, I haven't seen a patient in 22 years.
I won't be asking for this.
Here's my office address. You got 3 options of people to adjust to.
Maybe adjust my budget, but that's about it.
But I took an entrepreneurship role very early in my career, and right away I had at one point had 4 clinics, and 3 in Houston and 1 in San Antonio, and just started developing real estate. Started buying houses and flipping them around 2004.
Okay.
Developed my first retail center around 2007, which the timing was terrible. I wish it was a different decade that I had done that, because I would have been able to expand to several different properties but I 2008 recession hit, right?
Yeah.
And when I was fortunate enough to recover from all the developments that I had at the time, and then started in 2013. I opened Surgicare, which is my main business right now.
Okay.
And Surgicare is a healthcare funding company, which what we do is we provide medical and surgical services to clients who've been injured in a motor vehicle accident. We worked, we get referrals from chiropractors, medical doctors. Some law firms reach out to us to use our surgeons, and so essentially, if somebody gets injured in a motor vehicle accident, they need surgery, typically, if they're uninsured, then what happens is that patient would have to come out of pocket for the surgery, or the law firm would pay for the deposits for the patient to have these procedures. And obviously, that's if you have a law firm with significant volume, that's a lot of cash coming out of a cash flow
Up front.
and you have cases take several years to settle. So law firm could be out several $1 million, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars, depending on the volume. So they use companies like mine to be able to use our surgeons, so that what we do is we go to the surgeons in surgical facilities, hospitals, and surgery centers, and we buy the medical liens. So we say, hey, you know what? We're going to pay for you're going to purchase the account, so that we take the risk. And medical providers love that, because they're pretty much
It's guaranteed money.
Yeah, for them, they get paid right away, and they don't have to take the risk. If the case goes south, and they still got paid.
Yeah.
And we inherit the risk. And in cash flow wise, it's difficult for a surgeon to sit there and do, perform probably 4, 5, 6 surgeries a month on personal injury cases, and
On a risk basis.
risk, and waiting 2, 3 years, sometimes 5 years, depending on the case. Complex cases. I've had cases that haven't settled in 7 years. Got to check 7 years later. So if you add all those cases, that's a lot of cash flow issues that the surgeon will have to wait for the money. So what we do is we fund every component of the surgery, which surgeon, facility. If it's a spine, you do hardware, neuromonitoring, anesthesia, and we take the risk and wait for when the case settles. Then that's when we receive payment from the plaintiff attorney. So and it's we've grown our network of providers. I mean, just recently we had a referral on a patient as a poor guy, young man, 29 years old, first day on the job with no training, falls through a roof that somebody left a hole open, is quadriplegic.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
and so it was the law firm contacted us to provide him with home health care, and so we signed up a partner. We just recently, after for being 11 years in business, we had our first case with a home health agency, and we're providing the gentleman with speech therapy, respiratory therapy, and home health aid, and that was the first for us. And so so we've gone, normal pain procedures, injections, and surgeries, regular surgeries, shoulder, knee surgeries, spine surgeries, but we've also done more complex stuff. We have plastic surgeons, we have general surgeon, we had plastic surgeon, somebody gets injured and has a nasal fracture and they need repair, and we've grown our network to be just more than musculoskeletal, to have some specialty. So I'm very proud of that. This is interesting, but last year we had 2 cases that the young ladies ruptured their implants in an accident.
Wow.
So
We've had 1 or 2 of those come through also.
Yeah.
It's amazing the things you hear.
Right.
You get slammed forward into a steering wheel. I can imagine the damage that causes to.
So we referred it to our plastic surgeon. So I come home and tell my wife, hey, honey, I paid for 2 boob jobs last year.
So yeah, there's some explaining to do.
That didn't go well, but don't worry, I don't know them. Just know their names.
It's worse that
I've never met them, honey. No, but it's just interesting how as we expand our network of referral sources that we work with, we're getting more and more specialized requests that allow us to expand our network of surgeons.
Yeah.
But yes, it's a great business. I love what I do. I love being reached out by one of our referral sources and be able to get that patient the care that they need. So
Let me ask you this, Ness. Is it fair to say, and this is just based on my experience, I wanted to get yours from a healthcare perspective. Do you, cheers, guys.
Cheers, yes.
How is it fair to say that a large section of the population is uninsured from health insurance?
Yes, we find that's there's a lot of uninsured individuals that use our services. And even if they're insured, a lot of times they have
The deductibles
even
deductibles are out of pocket.
deductibles out of pockets are
Or
thousands and
elective
thousands of
surgeries
dollars.
like plastic surgery, they're not going to cover it as well. So
Yeah, they have, for example, yes, correct. And but sometimes you have insured that have significant out of pocket or deductibles that they don't have that kind of money. So they would those are the type of individuals that we're service in this industry. Yeah, we find that to be very.
And people don't understand that. Like, it boggles my mind that people are like, "Oh, I have health insurance. there's a lot of different types of health insurance
Right.
out there that aren't going to cover much.
And most times the health insurance won't cover if they know that there's another insurance, the auto carrier's insurance, that's going to be
won't even see you.
responsible for
Yeah,
it. They won't even
Right,
see you.
exactly right.
And so
Yeah.
that's where somebody like Nestor comes into play and really helps out these individuals who, in any other case, wouldn't be able to get, whatever
How are
type
you-
of procedure or medical service that they need.
Yeah. How are you able to get around the still expense of, you said that you have to pay, the attorneys have to pay out of pocket. How is your business able to get around that expense? Because you would still have to outlay
Yes.
cash to the doctors and to get you doing. How is it that
You
you're
know,
able to get around that?
I've been fortunate enough that being in business 11 years, I've been able to source myself. I don't have any investors or any partners, but yes, it's very costly.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, we
You're self-funding this.
we spend $8 million a year paying buying receivables from medical providers. It's a very expensive it's a very expensive expense, but it's part of the business. So, that's what we provide. We have to pay the doctors so the doctors can perform the services on these doctors. When I say doctors, I mean surgical facilities, all the ancillaries, hardware, anesthesia. I mean, there's different
Essentially,
components.
I think Nestor is becoming the health insurance provider for these individuals at the time that they need them most.
Right.
So he's like a health insurance provider. He's like, hey, look, we're going to assume the cost. We're going to take care of this. And then when something else gets paid out, when there's a settlement and money's received and the proceeds come through, then he can recoup, his
So I'm wondering,
cost.
so hopefully you're able to, clearly you're able to figure out a way to find a profit somewhere for your business in that process in some kind of way.
Yes, that's correct.
Can I chime in on that? So I think a very big misconception for the general public is that these medical costs are some like fixed number, and that is not the case. They are moving targets constantly,
Right.
whether it's because of Medicare, Medicaid, insurance, non-insurance, cash pay. All of these have different numbers, and all of them are, for the most part, negotiable, right?
That's correct.
I mean, is that right?
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
So example, like every hospital, you could have the same service from one hospital to the next, to the next, to the next. And one hospital is going to charge you $50,000. One's going to charge you 40, one 28, one 15, one $10,000, but they can always be negotiated down. And so that's what David's saying. It's always a moving target.
Okay.
There's no set flat rate for, said services or whatnot. So yeah, it just depends.
Every facility has their charge master. So when you go to someone like Memorial Hermann and then you go to Methodist, there's not going to be the same exact bill for the same procedure that you have. And everybody, all the hospitals and even surgeons, all the medical providers in general, they have negotiated rates with their network. So they may get paid different depending who the insurance is.
Or how much volume they do with that insurance.
That's
or-
correct.
Okay.
Everybody negotiates. They have different rates. But one thing that is important that I think about the service that we provide is that in the past, there were doctors that would perform the surgery and kind of waited 2-3 years to get paid, right, when the case settled. And, and I remember when I first started in this industry, those doctors that would do that, they weren't really great quality surgeons, right? Mm-hmm. So what my business and the business in my industry have been able to do is to give access to
The quality.
to clients to quality care.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that typically wouldn't see somebody in an auto accident, but they see them because we're able to buy the receivables, provide them with immediate cash flow by buying the receivables from them, right? So they're like, okay, I'll see it because I know I'm going to get a check from Surgicare in the next 30 or 60 days.
They're backed by a
where
reputable company.
where normally they, if my company wasn't around or these surgeons would probably just defer that patient and say, yeah, we don't see, which is what they did 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing clients getting great quality of care, same care as somebody who's insured and has great insurance and has access to quality surgeons. So that's another important aspect of the business.
That's fantastic.
That's a really good point.
We're
That's
bringing
fantastic.
quality care. We're bringing quality
Accessibility.
care to individuals of a motor vehicle accident. That's important.
No, I think that's great that people know that, because I think a lot of times people don't understand the difficulty in having good quality health care.
Absolutely.
There's a
Absolutely.
huge difference. You know?
Absolutely.
I can attest to that. I did not have health insurance when I first got out of law school, and I started practicing. I practiced what was called rent law, anything that would pay the rent. And we were playing basketball I was playing basketball with these two, and I tore my Achilles.
Oh, wow.
And I went to a bargain rate orthopedic who did bargain rate surgery for my torn Achilles. And if you look at my leg now, it looks like I'm part Frankenstein because he like butchered it. And I remember going to a really nice hospital here, and they told me how much it would be cash pay, and I was like, I don't have that kind of money. And then I went to a different place, and he was like a quarter the price. Yeah, so I did it, and
He looked like a 90-year-old grandpa cutting a piece of steak. He's like,
I remember Vince saw him. He's like, "That's not your doctor, is he?" And he was like, "Why?" He's like, he was shaking walking in.
Man.
he shook your hand. He's like, hey, how you doing today? I'm like,
Yeah.
You still can dunk on that. But
Yeah,
that's how you
that's
get
true.
up on the
on a 5-foot goal.
That explains your basketball skills. Blame it on that poor doctor.
It's all his fault. It's all his fault. So Ness, tell us something, and this is something I want to know as a lay person who's not familiar with your field, but what is it about your field that you wish people knew?
That I wish that people knew.
Yeah, that the general layperson doesn't.
I think whenever somebody gets injured in a motor vehicle accident, I think that it's important for if for the victim of the motor vehicle accident to do research on what surgeons they want to work with, right? What surgeons to say, hey, I want to have surgery with this guy because this guy probably, operated on an athlete, local athlete, and they saw it on TV or something. And I wish people knew that there's companies like mine that will be able to work out an agreement with that particular physician in whatever surgical facility they work with, so that they could have access to their own doctors by using our services. We're able to now. The unfortunate thing is not every doctor, not every surgeon is wanting to see people involved in motor vehicle accidents.
Yeah.
So and the reason for that is it's not because they don't want to treat that particular individual. It's just that they understand whenever there's a case involved that they probably get asked to be deposed to go to trial.
Yeah.
They're going to be under a microscope.
Yeah.
There's a lot of surgeons that say, I just want to operate. I don't want to I don't want to be an expert witness. I don't want to be under oath and obviously, as you guys well know, that's, it's something that's necessary in order to get the case close. So I say that. So I think a lot of I think if patients were many times, law firms come in and they have the guys that they work with, and a lot of times some are not quality surgeons. So if they see people that, and just like your example with Achilles, if they knew that you could choose their surgeon and a quality surgeon and use our services, they could improve on the quality of care.
Yeah.
I think that I feel like that's what I would love for people to know about when they get injured in a motor vehicle accident. But it's difficult because we're not involved in that early care. When somebody gets injured, typically they do? They hire a law firm, and then from there, the law firm, then they go to a provider near their house for treatment, and from there it just naturally goes into if they have a pathology that needs surgical intervention, then they get set up with whoever orthopedic surgeon.
And most times people just depend on the doctors and take their referrals and say, okay, well, if you're recommending this person, then that's where I'm going to go to. So you're right. They don't do their own research. And I'll say just one thing about, obviously we've worked together with a lot of our clients. You guys have done tremendous work for us and them to help them get what they're needing. And one of my, not selling points, but, we have clients all throughout the state of Texas. I mean, in the nation also, but especially when they're in our region, and maybe it's somebody needing, to see a neuro or an orthopedic specialist or something. And I tell them, hey, look, there are doctors in your area, but if you ask us, for our preferred physicians, we want to get you top tier medical treatment,
of course,
and evaluations. And we would like to bring you up here. And we have some of our preferred providers up here, and a lot of times it's with your company. And so we really appreciate, you having that network and us and working with us to help those clients out.
And it goes a long way, honestly. This is just something I've found across the board with all of the staff, is that it goes a long way when there's clear communication and responsiveness on both sides.
Right.
And you'd be shocked at how many times you don't get that.
That's correct.
With a lot of different providers.
Right.
And it's very seamless. Everybody gives glowing remarks about Kathy. They say she's on top of it.
She's awesome.
And for the most part, your facility, like I honestly by far see stuff come in from your place way more often than anybody else, just because they're giving us constant updates.
That's fantastic.
And what it is that this is, first of all, thank you for the support, guys. Appreciate it. And the kind words. What happens is that typically when you work with a provider who's not used to personal injury and dealing with law firms, that file's at the bottom of the stack, right? Because typically for them, the commercial insurance, the Blue Cross Blue Shield and Cigna and those guys and Medicare, it's easier for them, something that they're accustomed to, right?
Yeah.
So what I find is that typically when you have a provider who's not used to doing personal injury and dealing with every aspect of the personal injury, they don't provide, the service is not as fast. They don't provide, you got to beg them for medical records, babysit for records and find out status on the case. And that's the reason why. That's what's important, to work with providers that are used to handling personal injury cases, that don't have a problem sitting under oath and doing a deposition or even go to trial to help the case get resolved. And not everybody, I say this, there's a lot of good surgeons in Houston, but there's very few surgeons that are good surgeons and are also willing to post-surgically to work with the law firm to do on the litigation aspect, that comes with the litigation aspect of the case. And that's rare. And that's what we do. We provide good quality surgeons that understand personal injury, and my staff, again, for them, they understand that every request is a priority, and we pride ourselves on service. So when people ask us for requests for anything, we just, we're on top of it. And I think one of the things that is very important, I find in 27 years in healthcare, a lot of medical providers and a lot of surgical in general, just whether it's surgeon or surgical facility, they're understaffed. They're understaffed. You're constantly having to babysit these medical providers because they're really completely understaffed. And the reason is because overhead's gotten higher and the reimbursement rates for medical providers have gotten lower. Yeah. So that's caused a huge cash flow issue where, if you're a surgeon, you try to do the best you can with the staff that you have. Yeah. But I've in the 27 years I've been in business, I pride myself to make sure that I don't have any businesses that have a shortage of staff. I don't care how high the overhead gets, because at the end, the service that you provide, how good you are, is how it's gonna translate to the amount of referrals you're gonna get. And so as long as you have enough staff to handle every request and provide the services that your referral sources expect, then you're gonna be successful.
Yep. Ness, I have a question for you that like, what comes to the top of your head? What is it about your business that frustrates you? I can think of a ton of shit with me.
Oh, my goodness. How many hours do we have?
That's like limited to the top three.
Let me cancel my lunch meeting.
You want to take a shot?
Cancel my lunch meeting right now.
Take a shot.
Cheers to that.
Seriously. I love my business. It's a great business, and I really do. Sorry, take a little sip out of I love my business. It's a great business. We provide great service, a lot of happy clients, old patients to us. But it's a very, very, very competitive market, and there's nothing wrong with competition. Competition is great in every single field, right? A lot of my competitors are really good friends of mine, as you guys will know. Yeah. I think that Houston market is so, as you guys well know in this industry, is very, very competitive. And I think what frustrates me the most is that You know, if my sales rep or marketers go out to a medical provider or doctor's office, or they go to a law firm and deliver, lunch or cookies or breakfast tacos, whatever it is, just part of the industry. People go around doing that, cupcakes, whatnot. Then they gets posted, right? It gets posted and say, "Oh, Surgicare, thank you for bringing us this," and da da da.
Yeah.
Well, next thing you know, you have
There's a train of them coming.
There's a train of them coming. You have to say, "Oh, they're working with Surgicare." Okay, well let's send my marketer to them. I say, let's see what
Yeah.
and it's sad because I think that I've never looked at. First of all, I'm not in any social media. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Facebook. I'm old school. I don't have time for that, right? So but I don't look. Neither does my staff. We never look at our competitors to see what they're doing or who they hang out with.
Yeah.
Which gets me to the next point. I've been to lunch with referral sources, whether it's a doctor or a law firm, an attorney, and just gone to lunch with them. And at that particular restaurant, I see one of my competitors. And I jokingly tell the other person, said, "You're about to get a text this afternoon to be invited to dinner, I guarantee you, from so-and-so who's down here."
Yeah.
I get a text around 5 p.m. said, "Oh, my God, you're right. Guess who just invited me to lunch or invited me to dinner?" And it blows my mind because I run into my competitors with other accounts at places.
Yeah.
And I never think about I'm going to hit them up for
better hit-
business.
yeah.
Yes, it's just nuts. It's a different mentality. But I think that's a frustrating part of my business, that, again, competition is healthy. I don't mind it. I think that we provide a different level of service that I think my competitors will have a hard time duplicating.
Yeah.
And so I'm not concerned about it. It's just
It's a frustrating
It's a
thing.
it frustrates me about the industry that we're in.
You
What's
see it
that-
and you're like, "Oh man, come on! Why you gotta go and do
What's
all
that
that?"
saying?
Let me say,
Yeah.
I do want to say, I don't want you to think that all competition is the same. Again, just because they're in the same field does not mean to say they're your competition. 'Cause
100%.
Trust me, the level of service that you're providing,
Thank you.
regardless if they're in the same field, they
Yes.
are not your
Thank you.
competition. You know what I'm
What's that
saying?
saying? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah.
Right. That's correct.
It sucks, but
I say whenever I meet with potential referral sources, I always say you could get a steak at Golden Corral or you could get a steak at Papa's. The difference is that, you could get different level of service, different quality of steak. You know what I mean?
I'll let you tell me what the difference is. Yeah.
No offense to Golden Corral. I grew up in Golden Corral.
I could change the oil. I could change the oil in your car, but I'm not Jiffy Lube. So
Right.
be
Exactly.
prepared.
So-
Mr. Screwhead.
But yeah, that's the most frustrating part of my business, which I fixed it. Because now what I do is all my business lunches and dinners, I just go to Victoria, Texas, and go to Applebee's down there. And not gonna run into anybody.
There you go.
You and David, I don't ever believe you and David go to Applebee's and Chili's. David says, "I go to Chili's restaurant." I said, "You're lying."
He does that on his own.
You
For
lying.
nostalgia reasons.
You do not go there.
I should never come here again.
No
So-
one believes that you actually go there.
I assume there's an Applebee's in Victoria. Probably. I just wonder.
Yeah, I would assume correct.
Now I do all my business dinners out of Houston. So no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's the frustrating part of my of my business. But yeah,
It's funny that you talk about competition in Houston. It's something that we've seen. And I think you're right. Healthy competition is healthy. I mean,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that.
there's nothing wrong with that.
I think the problem lies whenever people cut corners and cheat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cross the
And-
line.
And everybody else isn't cheating.
That's correct.
And,
Different playing field.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, that's the difference, and that is one of the things that frustrates me about our business is that, man, we really pride ourselves on trying to do everything on the up and up, and then I see these attorneys that I know are cutting corners,
Yes.
but it's just like, it doesn't. I want it to make sense, but it doesn't, and I wish it would be more
Frustrating.
fair. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating, but. It is what it is. We're here, and we're all successful. We're blessed, so we
That's
can't complain
correct.
about that.
You don't like you don't like the Bill Belichick approach. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I know. Bill Belichick ain't going to prison for.
Exactly. Once I've been in healthcare 27 years. About 15 years ago, there was a pharmaceutical rep that had, big company nationwide. And he told me, he said, I don't know how you guys do it in Houston, because if you make it in Houston, Miami, and Chicago, you make it anywhere. Yeah. So that's good to know. You know what I mean? I mean, we could go somewhere else and kick ass because we've been trained by the tough market.
No, you're right.
We succeeded in one of the toughest markets in the nation. So.
It's extremely saturated, and it's funny. Even if you go to just going up to Dallas, night and day difference.
Right.
Night and day difference between the two as far as competition goes. It's crazy to me. The difference in saturation. I mean, so much so that we have at least 20 to 30 cases up there, at least, right?
In Dallas, yeah.
In Dallas alone, if not more.
Easy, yeah.
So I'm going to move on now to the fun stuff. So I hope you guys are ready. I'm going to surprise you guys with a couple of college games. Because I have a few that I wanted to talk about. The first one,
I bet this guy's picking games that are like 15% winning rate.
Right?
I think I'm
going to take notes on what Nestor said.
I was 75% last week out of 4 games. So
that's not bad.
Yeah. So
3 or 4.
I have Michigan 5-4 at number 7 Indiana.
Okay, what's the line?
14.5 points for Indiana.
Indiana's
all right. So
good.
Let me tell you kind of what it's not a proven theory, but lines are made. Somebody told me this, and it's so darn true. Lines are made for people to take the wrong side, right? Mm-hmm. In other words, what does that mean? Vegas odd makers want to attract the amateur bettors like us to take the wrong side, so the house always wins. So when I see a line that's 14.5, 7.5, 3.5, they're begging you to take the other side, because plus 14.5 because of the hook, right?
Yeah.
Because of or plus 7.5 because the that's intriguing that that hook is your edge,
the little
right?
plus on that, yeah.
Right, it's your edge. So when I see something 14.5, I don't keep up with college sports as much. I mean, mine is NFL just because of having. I'm in 2 fantasy football leagues, so I'm constantly watching. And but if anytime you see 14.5, Indiana's at home minus 14.5, that means odd makers probably like Indiana to blow them out.
Indiana's 9-0 and number 7 in the nation.
Yeah,
kicking.
Michigan just lost to Oregon Oregon last week, I think, right?
USC?
I don't know who Michigan lost to last week.
Yeah, so
okay.
But so who was your pick then? So you saying Michigan plus 14.5?
I think Indiana's going to, based on Indiana's like one of the highest scoring teams in the nation.
Where are they playing?
In Indiana.
I'm going to take Indiana.
They'll cover it. I think they'll cover it.
I'll be honest, a couple weeks ago, I didn't even know they had a football team.
No doubt, the Hoosiers.
No, I
the
agree.
Indiana Hoosiers win a football game.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
What are you taking, Nestor?
What's that?
What are you taking?
What do you take?
For this game?
Yeah.
Oh, Indiana for sure.
Okay.
With the 14
Because
and a
the
half.
14.5, right?
Yeah.
14.5. It's like they're begging you to take the wrong side, so I'm going to go with the house. I'm the no pass line or whatever it's called.
We are all on record. Everybody's with Indiana.
Okay.
14 and a half.
So the next one I have is Georgia, number 3, at number 16 Mississippi, who is 7-2. Georgia's favored by 2.5.
Again, when it's 2.5, I think that they're begging you to take Georgia minus 2.5.
So you think you take
Georgia struggled last week, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And it's Ole Miss, right? At Ole Miss.
In Starkville.
Yeah. I like us Ole Miss plus 2.5.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Nice.
I like
Nice
Ole Miss plus 2.5.
I'm writing down my parlays as we speak.
What did you do, Vinny?
Yeah, Ole Miss.
I'm going to follow Ness. I like, me, I'm an underdog kind of guy, and Ole Miss being that. I think SEC is just super competitive. Georgia has shown some, weaknesses, and then they're playing away. I think it's.
I'm going to give Mississippi the points, but I think Georgia's going to win in a squeaker.
So Georgia money line.
So Georgia money line, Ole Miss points.
I'm going Georgia with the points.
Okay. And the last college game
House
I
is
have
split,
here.
2-2.
Yep. Yes,
House
it
is
is.
split.
We're on record. The last one I have, which is intriguing to me, is Florida 4-4 against number 5 Texas 7-1. Texas is favored by 21.5 points.
Wow. I don't know. I don't know how.
I don't know
I mean,
how.
I love Texas.
Use
I
your,
love Texas.
Use your rule.
Yeah,
Come on,
20 and a half and a half. You know what that means? That means they're gonna blow out Florida. But you know, I was at the Georgia game, the Texas Georgia game, and even the win we had, a big win we had over Oklahoma, and Ewers didn't look good. You know, and I mean, you know, I know we had a bye week last week, so maybe maybe I'm coming out for bye week. But by my rule, I have to go 21 and a half.
you have
Texas,
to go, you have to take Florida.
Texas, huh?
So by your rule, you
No.
would take Florida.
No, take 21 and a half means that they want you to take the 21, Florida.
So you would take the
I have
opposite.
to take the opposite. Yeah, I'll
You
go
would
with the
take-
house. But the house is begging you to take the under 21 and a half, 21. So that's Florida.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Texas minus 21 and a half.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Even though
a lot of 3 touchdowns.
I'm going to take Florida for the points. Yeah, I'll take Florida.
it's not a bad bet. I mean, that's a coin flip, honestly.
It's just
to
a
go
lot
either
of
way.
points.
Yeah.
I haven't been crazy about Ewers and his production, you know, but I'm at 21 points is a lot of points. They're not UTEP, which is the only other team that Texas blew out. Florida is scared. Just the name Florida scares me, even though they're 4-4. I'm going to take Florida covering.
I don't think Ewers' game is going to translate into the NFL.
I don't think so either.
I don't think.
you know,
They're saying he's going to be a first-round pick.
I don't see it. I don't see how.
I don't see it.
He should have gone last year because I think his
should've.
stock is dropping this year, in my opinion.
I wonder if it's still playing hurt because the Ewers in the first 2-3 games, the Ewers that I saw in Michigan, I went to the Michigan game.
Yeah.
The Ewers what I saw in Michigan before his injury, and the Ewers that played at against OU on at the Cotton Bowl, which I was there as well, and the Georgia game is very different.
Yeah.
Very, very different. You know, I'm gonna stick to my theory with the odd makers. And
I hope so. I'm rooting
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah,
I'm going against your theory. I'm going to
right.
go.
You gotta go
Only
Florida.
because Florida lost to Georgia, who beat Texas pretty handily, 20-34.
What was the score again?
Georgia 34, Florida had
It was like
20.
the same score, right?
14. So if Georgia can
I see.
make it
I see it
competitive,
there, yeah.
right? If they can do it that way, then I'm going to suggest it just makes sense
Right.
that Texas is not going to beat them by
I understand.
21
Fair
and a
enough.
half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to the NFL. This is where we make our money.
I think that was only 3 games. Did you
Yeah,
know
no, I
this?
only picked 3 games for college.
Oh,
this
okay,
year.
all right.
Yeah.
NFL. Here we go.
NFL. So the first one I'm going to ask you guys about is the Niners and the Bucks. So the Niners are 4-4. The Bucks are 4-5. This is in Tampa. The Niners are favored by 6. First week that Christian McCaffrey's back.
That doesn't mean anything.
Have they announced he's back?
They said he's
Yes,
been
he
fully
practiced.
participating.
He's been practicing.
He practiced.
He practiced every
There's
day.
like a 21-day window to. I didn't know if he's active. I need to know because he's on my fantasy team.
He is.
He's been sitting on IR for 9 weeks or whatever.
I had the first
He's
pick of the
in-
draft, and I was like,
He's-
"This is easy, pump." And
Boom,
then all of a
give me that.
sudden, you know,
He's out.
he hasn't
even
played a
walk.
stat all year, all in 10 weeks, so 9 weeks. But
What's the spread?
6.
6.
So basically a touchdown.
Yeah.
I like the over in that game. to be honest
Over
with
is
you.
50.5.
I like the over
They
in that
said
game.
everybody's gonna score.
Tampa Bay
Tampa's
plays
been putting
a
up
high tempo
shit,
offense.
they do.
Tampa Bay
But they got
almost beat.
the number 1 and the number 2 receivers are out, right?
I know, yeah, but they did well against KC.
They did.
And KC
They
has a
did.
tough defense.
In
They still did
KC.
that. In
In
KC.
KC.
So
I
and-
can't
And I really believe they only lost because that
Overtime.
coin flip in overtime. Did you see?
Yeah.
Did you see his face when he saw that they were
Yeah.
getting the ball first?
it's like I've seen this.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, you know, they need to do something. I would love for the NFL to implement a new, overtime where they do like college. Give them the ball at the 40-yard line or whatever. Give them 4 downs and see what they can do. Then the team goes to the other side and does the same. I understand the problem is, but if they score a touchdown, make them go for 2 right away because you don't want. Like what happened to LSU A&M like 5 years ago. Where there was like 7 overtimes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's for professional, that
Yeah.
you're killing the athletes, honestly.
Yeah.
But, make them go for a 2-point conversion, right, instead of an extra point, and then that's your winner. I think it's so unfair to give the ball on Mahomes and just, watch him feel.
Yeah,
all the way down, like, wait a minute.
he's at home.
Yeah, it's like,
He's at home. He's gonna just drive down the field. He's just gonna keep getting first downs, and he just beats you down. And Baker knew it happened. Did you see his face?
right.
He was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's the only sport where you go to overtime, and one side you tell them, okay, how did you do it overtime? I don't know. I never got to play. Yeah, it's like, what? I didn't get to play. What do you mean you didn't get to play? Well, they won. So
if they had stopped him and got at least a field goal, they had another shot. Right. You can't just kick a field goal.
right. So I'm gonna take San Francisco because McCaffrey's back.
Okay. So you're going to take that spread.
I am 6.
Vinny?
It all depends if McCaffrey comes back. If he wasn't back, I'd probably be taking the Bucks money line.
You think the
Just
Bucks would
because
beat
the
them,
Bucks play really well. They're at home.
They've been playing everybody
San
tough.
Fran, again, if they've lost their receiver, Debo, I don't know if he's fully back or whatnot.
He was talking about the Bucks.
Yeah. Well, the Bucks have too, but they lost. San Fran lost Ayuk, who wasn't really doing that good anyway.
Right,
Debo had pneumonia a week or two ago, whatever. So I think I'm going to take the Bucks covering.
Okay. Okay.
It's going to be close.
I don't mind. This is like similar to the college game. Like I think either one of those, I could see both sides making a case for the. I like Florida plus 21. I like Texas minus 21 and a half. Same
Yeah.
thing here.
Yeah.
I don't mind Tampa Bay. I could see San Francisco wouldn't be a field goal and Tampa Bay covering.
As long as they hit the over, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Was it 50 and a half?
That's what I said,
50 and a half. Yeah.
So 25 each. That's
So,
not bad.
so what you hope is that they score like 40 something points in the first half, and then you hedge it where you have a big spread, right? So you do the under in the second half, right? So the second half under, let's say it was 24, right? And they scored 42 points in the 21, whatever, And then I've done this and it's been
You've dabbled a
yeah,
little bit.
it's
You never gambled before.
Oh, never. No, I just read a book before I came here. But, like you have game of 50 and a half points. They have a big first half, and they scored 42 points combined. The second half line's 24. Then you do the under 24. You only need 9 points, right? Or 51 and a half, 10 points to cover.
Yeah.
So that means you have under in the second half. So that means you have 14 points or 13 points where you get paid on both.
Oh,
right?
I see
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sorry. So you get 13 point spread where you could cover, you could scoop, call a scoop. You can scoop both, right? So you sit there and you almost going to hit the over, at 50 and a half with a 42 points. So sometimes this happens, right? And that would be great because you're free rolling to an S. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't lose both.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
I need to
Or
post
think
that
about it.
meme where it's like that.
David.
Yeah.
David.
You can't lose both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a great idea. I'm already
No,
putting the bet in right now. Oh, what's my pick?
Yeah.
My pick is I think the 49ers are going to cover. I think the 49ers are going to cover the
I like
6.
that. McCaffrey. Yep.
So my personal game of the week.
We're still 2-2, just
We're
this
2-2,
way as opposed
yeah.
to this way.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
My personal game of the week, which I think is going to be fun to watch, is the 6-2 Steelers against the 7-2 Commanders.
Man.
Commanders are favored by 3 in Washington.
I don't know how you call that. That's such a tough game.
Yeah, that's hard.
Tough game to pick.
Yeah.
That's one of those when I look at it, it's like, oh, I'm staying away from that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a tough game because, rookie quarterback. I mean, what's the coach for Pittsburgh?
Tomlin.
Yeah.
Right,
He is probably the most underrated football coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
The guy always has a winning program, and he does it with crappy personnel, right? In the sense that,
You mean he's done it with crappy
he don't
players since Ben Roethlisberger,
That's
Hall of
correct.
Famer,
My
left.
point.
Yeah,
Think of all the quarterbacks that have gone through there. They've been terrible. Trubisky and all these guys. And, he lost Antonio Brown, one of the best receivers at the time in the NFL. He lost
cancer.
Le'Veon Bell. Is it
Le'Veon Bell. Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell.
Another cancer.
And then Roethlisberger retired. They're always there in the playoffs with very little talent. So
He gets his team
He does
to play.
He does have
yes.
a Super Bowl winning quarterback now, who's actually looking
Russell Wilson.
really good.
Yeah,
Really good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he does. So it's a game where Pittsburgh could win by 2 touchdowns, or or the young Commanders team. They're well coached, and and I really like the Washington team. So I don't know. That's
They're
a tough
fun to
game.
watch.
They're very fun to watch.
They're like the Texans from last year.
Hurt my feelings all the way y'all are talking. I hate it.
Speaking of hurting your feelings.
Let's stick with this.
Oh yeah, let's figure
finish this
what
before
what
you
are
go.
these
Before we
Cowboys
get
fans?
disrespectful.
Cowboys fans in the
Hey,
house?
man.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
not.
really?
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
my
Ray.
goodness.
Let's not be disrespectful.
Oh, my God.
I root for America's team.
Hey, they disrespect themselves.
That's true. That is fair. That
Oh,
is
my
completely true.
goodness.
Jerry Jones disrespects us, man. That's all I'm saying.
His
That
wife's
should have
from
been the
San
first
Antonio.
topic.
Of course, he's a Cowboys fan. So.
That should have been the first topic we talked about. We'll still be talking about it. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Steelers Commanders -3. What are you thinking?
Who's favored though? -3. Pittsburgh.
Washington.
Commanders.
Washington's
is
favored
in
by
Washington.
-3.
They
Wow.
have the better record.
Yeah.
I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Ooh.
Mike Tomlin, rookie quarterback. I know Jaden Daniels is being
you.
superb,
Thank you.
but
Exactly.
he's gonna, he's gonna draw it up. He's gonna get his team ready to play. Washington isn't crazy far from Pittsburgh, so Pittsburgh travels really well.
They do. They do.
The home field advantage is kind of, taken away there. I'm just going Pittsburgh.
Okay. I'm gonna do the same. Pittsburgh -3. +3. Sorry.
They're gonna win by a field goal.
Make it 3. Pittsburgh by 3.
Yep.
Or Pittsburgh +3, sorry.
+3.
I hate to agree with it. I hate to be a follower here. But I'm conflicted because now I have to choose. If I go against y'all, I'm choosing Washington, my nemesis. I believe that Washington will keep it close. Pittsburgh will win. So give me Washington. Oh, no. Washington's favorite.
Yeah.
Yes, you're thinking Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
But Washington will win by a point or so.
By a point, right. If they win.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they win.
Washington.
Okay.
Yep.
No now for the game no one wants to watch.
I don't.
6-2
I'll
Eagles
I'll watch it.
against the 3 and 5. 3 and 5?
3 and 5.
3 and 5 Cowboys
Let's not be disrespectful.
For their 10th straight home game.
in Dallas.
What a
Eagles are favored by 7.
what a great deal to pay him the most money of any quarterback in the NFL. Huh?
I know.
Wow.
And he's hurt.
I know.
What, he's got 3 games out now?
He's on IR, so
Yeah,
at
he's-
least 3.
Oh, did they
games, I
place
think.
him on IR?
Yeah,
IR
I
is
think
4 games, I think.
If you had sand in your vagina, you wouldn't go to work either.
I think the Eagles are going to cover it. Sorry, Ray.
I do. I like that. I like the Eagles.
I think the Eagles are
Backup
playing
quarterback.
good right now.
You're not
yeah.
hurting my feelings. I agree.
Yeah.
The Eagles are going
Saquon
to
Barkley, did you see that run that he had with the?
Yeah.
That is
Oh, it's
crazy.
unbelievable.
Hurtling
I mean,
backwards.
That is
such
crazy.
He's on my fantasy team.
I thought it was a video. I thought they were playing it in reverse when I first saw it because I only saw the highlight. I was like,
Yeah.
did they play that in reverse?
No.
Salazar could do the same if he had a good surgeon for his.
If I had a
Achilles.
Instead of father time. doing it.
now I'm barely crawling out of it.
He went to the flea market to go find a surgeon.
Pretty much. I had it done in the back.
Well,
yeah.
you weren't around. You weren't around.
I
then,
wasn't
were you?
around.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Oh, my.
Can you fix him up? Can you get him to repair
It
it?
looks
I
like
don't-
he used a meat cleaver on it. It's just
Yeah, I don't think I could find a surgeon to fix that.
Yeah, you tenderized it.
so everybody get their pick in.
I'm taking Philly.
Philly.
Yeah.
I'll go Philly.
Okay.
Wow, a Cowboys
Yeah.
fan going against his team.
No, again, this is
Money's
betting.
first. I get it.
This is
Yeah.
betting. This is betting. We're suggesting if I had to put money somewhere.
Yeah, right.
With Cooper Rush, and I'm saying that will my sorry ass defense, who we don't have anybody playing, stop whatever the Eagles have going on at home? Doesn't matter because we lose more games at home than we ever win. But so I'm just going to go with the sheer numbers. Yes, we're going to lose by more than 7 to the Eagles, who with Saquon Barkley and Hurd and everybody else still healthy. Yeah, we're going to get beat up bad.
I can't wait for November 18th.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Texans
crazy.
go to Cowboys.
Monday night.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I don't know what y'all excited about.
I'm
We
worried
don't
about
have a backup quarterback.
Who's your backup quarterback?
Cooper Rush. Hopefully they'll play the third string guy. I'm hoping
Trey Lance?
I want to see Trey Lance in the game. Give me some mobility.
I'm excited to see all the disappointed Cowboys fans again. Like that
In
commercial.
Dallas, yeah.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why y'all are talking, laughing.
Which leads us to the next game, which I don't know. We're looking at the 7-1 Lions against the 6-3 Texans.
There we go. Let's talk it up. Come on,
And
Texans fans.
Podcast over. Podcast over.
Yeah, I want to hear what
Run out of
Nestor
time.
Commercial.
So we're out
break.
of time, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Can I get an extension?
Yeah.
Can I get an extension?
We're out of time. Thank you for joining us.
It's a Sunday night game. The Lions are favored by 3.5.
Ooh, y'all gonna lose on prime time.
And
That's
I
fantastic.
honestly just think the Lions are playing. I think they're the best team in the NFL right now.
They are the
They're
best.
playing elite ball.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
They will go to the. In my opinion, if they stay healthy, they will be in the Super Bowl.
and they already had their star defensive player
That's
gone
right.
for the year.
Well, they just picked up another top talent from Cleveland. I forget his name, but he's got 6.5 sacks. He's gonna probably plug and play. Maybe not be as productive as Hutchinson, but he's gonna be up there, and he gets to play against us first.
You know, Lions are my favorite team to watch in
He's
the
back?
NFL.
yeah.
No, the
To
guy they
watch?
picked up from the
To watch?
I said Lions are my favorite team to watch in the NFL. I love their coach. I love they have so much talent, and one of the receiving core is great. The two-headed monster, the Gibson, Montgomery, and
Yeah.
running
Oh,
back.
man.
Their
Montgomery's-
tight end Laporta is top 5, maybe
Yeah.
5-6 in the NFL. I
Yeah.
mean, they just really have a good team a
And golf
great
is
coach.
playing
picked
nights
it up.
out.
I mean, they're fun to watch. I love teams that air the ball out, and unfortunately, I have to go against my Texans on this one.
Yeah.
I just
What? You mean to tell me a Texans fan is
Yeah, you
going
know.
there? Texans fan.
Well, I'm looking for my wallet.
There
Like
you
you
go.
are. Disappointed with the Texans. After the Jets game 2 weeks ago, we had terrible protection and we didn't do anything to bring at least a receiver and some protection in the offensive line.
Nothing.
I mean, absolutely. I'm so disappointed. It's like, protect your franchise, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, right, so this kid, CJ, is taking so many hits.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, and it's unfortunate, that we didn't do anything to try to improve the O-line and protect our big investment. I saw where Mike Williams, great receiver, he was with the Jets. He got picked up. I know he's not an offensive line. I'm going to try. I said we needed a receiver.
Yeah, you're right.
Receiver, and Mike Williams got picked up by the Steelers
Yeah.
for a 5th-round pick.
Yep.
Oh wow.
5th-round pick. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
5th-round pick. That's a guy that's going to work at Enterprise the following year, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for real.
No, but I'm just kidding. But we could have done better than that. Give him a 4th-round pick, but just having a guy like Mike Williams in your big, tall, receiver, strong receiver with a lot of experience, come in and help us right away. He'll fill in the gap of Diggs, of losing Diggs for the season. But more importantly, the receiver. I think that an offensive line, I was very, very disappointed that we didn't
There was
pick up
no one that was picked up, right?
nobody.
Or we didn't pick up anybody at all?
Well, we had
Right.
questions before entering the Jets game, and then the guy that was like, he's literally ranked 115 out of 115, in
Kenyon
pass
Green.
protection, Kenyon Green, and then he went out for the season, which is going to be a blessing in disguise, but we don't have any depth.
But I was
And
going to
so-
say, as far as depth goes, the only thing we can do is pick up a free agent. Is that it? Is that our only option?
pretty much. Yeah, but to pick up a quality, a team that's building, like Carolina Panthers
Yeah.
or.
Yeah.
They probably have a good offensive line that they're willing to give away for a second or third round pick, or not maybe a second, but a third round pick or something.
Yeah.
Just to have I'm disappointed with the Texans front office this past week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going with Lions.
Vinny?
It's a color rush night, ruby red all night long, Sunday night
I don't
football.
know
It's
what
going to
that
be
means.
a good night to watch football, probably through the first half, but CJ's going to get too much pressure. There's going to be a lot of the same thing. I think Nico might be back, but I don't think it's going to be enough. They have to get their tight ends involved in the run, like do some quick passes, some screens, but to have a good
Keep the
screen, you
defensive
have to
line
have the
honest.
linemen moving
Yeah.
out,
Correct.
and it all flows together. And against the Lions, like that, like well-coached team, Dan Campbell's like, man, you could play with, like, I want to play with him.
They have no joke. He's awesome.
for him. But I like D'Amico also. Like they have a lot of common characteristics. But
What's funny is I was reading this article where people were like just talking shit about Bobby Slowick because they're shocked that he hasn't made the adjustments offensively to scheme for these lines because we don't have a line for the defensive lines to where they just do these screens, these bubble screens, anything like that. These short passes, slants come in, like anything like that, where it takes a second and a half to get the ball out. But he hasn't done anything.
Right.
I think he too has lost stock in his because he was getting
Head
interviews
coaching,
for head coaching candidacy. I think next year he's not going to get the same calls because he hasn't been able to make those adjustments. And there's obviously the line. You don't have quite the personnel, but it comes down to coaching.
How many times this year the Texans scored 17, 20 points in the first half and they scored 3 points in the second half?
Yeah, it's crazy
because we don't stay aggressive offensive. It's like almost like Bill O'Brien ball all over again.
Yeah. I saw somebody state that D'Amico went from playing to win to playing not to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he was just like, it's just what it is.
They're winning, though. They're
not
winning.
right now.
I mean, you have a winning record.
I mean,
The only thing
You
is
have
that
a winning record. I told you, I'm going to keep repeating, y'all were trashing them years ago. You said they're keep losing these games. I said they're losing these games by just a little bit. And it only takes a second for something to click, and you'll be winning these games by the same margin that you're losing them. You're saying in every game. So now you're winning these games by just a little bit.
I understand that.
That's a winning. Take the win.
I understand that. The only other thing that's going with us or going for us is that we're 4-0 at home, which I just saw earlier, and I guess 1-3 or 2-3 or something on the road. So that's maybe the only thing going for us. But we don't play good on prime time either.
yes.
That's another thing.
We're-
This week you have a number of things. So I'm not going to work on the superstition of the primetime thing. I'm not going to work on that. Just going to say this. Apparently, the Detroit Lions have the number one offensive line in the league. And if you can protect your quarterback and you can run the ball, which clearly they can because they run regularly over everybody.
Yeah.
If you run the ball and you play good defense, you can win football games. And this is what they can do. So I'm going to go Lions regardless of the points, and especially since – and again, I want to make sure you understand this. This is no slight on the Texans. I think the Texans are in the top 5 of all the AFC.
I agree.
I agree with you. But the thing is, the team that we have right now is a team that's going to easily win the division, have a home game in the wild card, and probably win that. And it's going to end up going to KC, Buffalo, or Baltimore for a second round of playoffs and lose. I mean, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there in January at Baltimore, Texans at Baltimore for round 2, and our guys really don't like playing in the cold. I just saw it. It was just our offense was flat.
Yeah, some
as
Texas
you guys well
boys.
know. So, in other words, I mean, are you building a team to make the playoffs, or are you building a team to hopefully have a shot at Super Bowl by making the AFC Championship game? And you know what? We could have done that by having some good quality picks, trades here in this past week, and we didn't do that. Yep. So again, I my prediction on the Texans is that you're right. Probably 4th or 5th best team in the AFC. Win the division, play at home, probably win at home, and then lose
once they go on the road.
in January.
And again, that is no slight, in my opinion, on the Texans. If you have to go deal with the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore or a Kansas City in Kansas City, where's a lose-lose situation?
Right.
These guys are top of their game right now. So,
But isn't the whole point to build a championship team?
sure.
Correct. That's my point.
It's about getting over the hump.
Right now, we're building a
building a
division
playoff
and
team,
playoff
yeah.
team to have to get everybody excited about the playoff. We did that last year. We did that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Win the division,
gotta-
win the first game, and then go lose at New England.
And it's not a slight to them. It's just it's not a championship.
You got to walk before you crawl
Yeah, I
on
hear
purpose.
you. I hear you.
I hate to say this, but I don't want to sound like a Cowboys fan, but I said, well, there's always next year. Next year's our year. You know what I mean? Maybe.
We're all in. We're all in.
I don't say it every.
I don't know why my Cowboys being insulted.
Puro pinche Cowboys.
I mean, I don't. That's it. Next year's our year. I really mean. I've only said it once. You say it every year, buddy.
I cry my own tears, man. I don't need you crying with me, man. I cry my own tears.
I think that the Lions are going to stomp them. that I'm shocked that it's only 3.5.
That's right. That's the great
They're at
point
home.
because that line should be.
What's your theory?
7
I agree.
What's your theory?
No, the theory is for 3.5. You bet the minus 3.5. But I think the line is enticing you to bet the Lions because the line is about 3 or 4 points too short.
I know.
Which means that maybe the and it's funny because we're kind of coming of a bye week. We had because we had a
Early
Thursday
game.
night. So we had an extra 3-4 days, and Nico coming back. I don't know, man. Anything could happen. I hope I picked the Lions, but I hope I'm wrong. How's that?
Hey,
So
absolutely.
I do that.
I want to win.
I do that every week with my guys.
Vinny?
I'm taking the Lions.
Yeah, sure.
I think they're the better team. They're executing on offense, on defense. The coaches match up equally. Our offensive line is our Achilles heel right now. So I think that's what's going to prevent us from keeping up with the score. What we need to do with them.
Wasn't it about 3 weeks ago you said you were an optimist?
I am optimistic. I'm very hopeful. I want them to win. I know that they're capable of doing it, but I haven't seen our line do anything
He has
to
no
change.
time. He has no time.
It seems like he's dropping back and he's already running.
What
So that's
about-
what I'm saying. They got the play caller
what
needs
about-
to be short.
What have I always
passes.
said
I don't
about
know.
those Texans? They never protect the quarterback, ever. Back when you had Schaub throwing that ball around, he used to get his
David Carr.
David Carr got his brains beat out, and he never wanted to protect him. And I said the best thing you could have done was went and got Vince Young when you had a chance, because you're not protecting your quarterback, and all he wants to do is run. It would have been great. It'd have been great. Just run, design.
Let him run around.
Let him run around. You ain't protecting him anyway.
I mean, I always love the bootleg. Like, get out the pocket, figure it out.
What did we take again? Williams, right?
Williams.
Mario Williams.
Mario Williams.
As
Hey, I'll tell you this, though.
as
Out of
opposed to
Still
Vince
to this
Young.
day, I don't know who was the better pick of all of them.
Mario Williams lasted in the league for like 12 years
So
or
did
something.
Reggie Bush.
Nah, well, he outlasted
He went to
Bush.
Buffalo, had a big contract.
Yeah.
But Vince Young would have been perfect in your system.
I got a great story about Mario Williams. I think it's 2006 when he first got drafted. I would always see him out. He would go out. And back then, I didn't have any kids, so I would go out as well. And
This is about to get bad. Let's
yeah,
go.
no,
Get ready.
And I every time I saw him, his rookie season he struggled a little bit and didn't have as many sacks. And I would be, I'd be drunk and just run into him and say, "Hey Mario, come on, man! All we need is 10 sacks. 10 sacks. All we need from you, 10 sacks." So I did that maybe 3 times when I would go to a bar, a club, a restaurant. So, "Mario, 10 sacks." One time we were at there was a concert at Toyota Center. I don't remember who the concert was. And I'm in the suite. I'm walking down the hallway. Here comes Mario. And I said, "Hey, Mario." He goes, Yeah, I know, 10 sacks.
I thought you were going to say he sacked you.
He goes, Yeah, I know, 10 sacks.
That's badass.
You remembered.
Classic.
Yeah, that's right.
Did he ever get 10 sacks?
I'm sorry, I don't know. I have no idea. But it's so funny. Like shut the hell
I
up.
know.
10
10
sacks.
sacks.
Yeah, so that's Mario Williams' story. So great.
You know what's funny is my only experience with like a number 1 draft pick or first round draft pick was I met Deshaun Watson at a Subway shop next to the Aloft Hotel. I was with a law firm there. We were doing depositions in Houston, and he was there. And I tried to talk to him. Very shy dude.
Yeah.
Very shy dude. But it was his first week in Houston.
Wow.
Yeah. Very shy.
Rookie year.
He was a kid. So it's weird how times.
He's paid now.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So
It's amazing how his stocks just went.
it's amazing how his play did.
Yeah,
But
it's just how
that's
bad. Yeah,
gotta be mental.
Yeah, so he's not getting the massages anymore. So
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's still getting plenty of massages. He got the money.
He just
He
got
can
the
afford it.
NDA now. Yeah. But no, yeah. What is it, $100 million contract guaranteed?
yeah,
Oh,
no,
240,
240,
240 something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He's
Guaranteed. Like
he's-
there's no caveat for his player.
I wouldn't even if they're gonna trade him or cut him. I wouldn't even play anymore. Me personally, I'd be like, oh, Why sacrifice my body?
He got a
I'm not
season-ending injury. Was it his Achilles?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's
I didn't
gone.
know that.
Yes. Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
I
he's
didn't
out
know
for the
that.
year. So it's
Yeah.
either it's like
AC
another comeback or
ACL, I think it was ACL or Achilles.
I think it's his Achilles. I think.
It was
Yeah.
his
Oh,
Achilles.
Oh, wow.
I think it went to David's
Yeah.
doctor.
He's out. He's out.
Oh, he's done.
Sir. Yeah. Guys, thank you. Nestor, thank you so much for coming
My
on, man. I
pleasure.
really appreciate it. This is fun. Looking forward to next week.
I truly enjoyed it anytime. I love to come back anytime. It was a lot of fun, and thank you for your time.
All right.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you.